The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and we're going to have those cage tickets in just about 30 seconds. We're talking about when guys don't notice the signal. You have this, drop the hint, went unnoticed by a guy. Kelly checked in. I'm just going to put this out there. In my loose days,
the fun days,
I pretty much flirted with this hot guy and sat down next to him and asked him if he wanted to do the hibbity-dibbity, as we say. He said no, so I asked if he just wanted to continue to flirt.
Did he say yes?
She said, common dude. I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if they ever...
You probably didn't know what hippity-dippity meant.
Well, she didn't say that. That was me just translating for the radio. She used another word that I can't say. Also, Tracy Lynn checked in, 708. Definitely had to have a guy finally say to me, I'm hitting on you when I didn't get it. So it's weird that a lot of the women out there, I didn't expect that didn't know they were being hit on by a guy.
Yeah.
One of the other way around is really easy, and it's more dumb for a guy not to notice, I think, anyway, when they're being, hey, this girl's hitting on you. It's pretty obvious. If they say hi, they're hitting on you.
Yeah, well, that's just it. We're not.
I know.
Yeah, you think we are, we're not.
That's when you can't get rid of a guy.
Yeah.
That's a bad situation, so don't do that. Don't be that guy.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. That is Sum 41. Our interview with Derek Whibley is up on the new Brian and Kenzie podcast. Just go to Q101.com or anywhere you get your podcasts, like Spotify or the iHeartMedia app, whatever. The Brian and Kenzie podcast is there with tons of great interviews. And the show, basically the whole show, is on there every day. Unlike some other shows, they just kind of cherry pick like one break or something like that. No, we get the whole show for you there. So check it out, the Brian and Kenzie podcast. Now, we just gave away Cage the Elephant tickets. Judith in Streamwood. You're going. You're good. Cage the Elephant Neon Pill Tour with Young the Giant and Bakar Wednesday, August 14th at the UIC Pavilion.
Nice.
I just want to say that because it's the Sears Tower. It's Lakeshore Drive. It's Comiskey Park. It's Brookfield Zoo.
Yeah, Chicago.
And it's the UIC Pavilion. But Credit Union One Arena, if they call it now, you want to find it better in your phone, on your app, trying to get over there? Sure. That show coming up. We'll have more tickets tomorrow at this time. And also, coming up at 9 today, mark this in your phone, Bert Kreischer tickets for the United Center. One of the funniest dudes on earth, one of the craziest dudes on earth. You will laugh until you hurt. So that's coming up at 9 a.m. here with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Coming up, I will still get to that. In fact, read the transcripts of a guy that gave government secrets through a foreign dating app to impress a woman.
That's so weird.
And we'll have the transcript for you in a second. But first off, since we're in that kind of related conversation of just people are just desperate to get together.
Yeah.
And Tony checked in from Lindenhurst. We were talking about the sign you missed. You couldn't see the sign from somebody. He said, I was at a bar telling my friends an amazing story about a vacation I just got back from. The girl behind me comes around and says, excuse me, but I think you're very intriguing.
Oh.
And then Tony said, thank you. And then went back to his friends telling the story. When I finally figured out that she was walking out the door, I looked around and I still kicked myself because she said that, went and finished her drink, and then left. You never know. Tony, I hope you're happily married today. I hope you're happily married without that situation. But it's really nice when a girl does that. You're intriguing. Thanks.
That's a great compliment.
My head would blow off my own neck if somebody told me I was intriguing. That's the highest compliment a man can receive.
Well.
Not really.
I was going to say almost.
What's better than that? I want to be intriguing.
Your abs are incredible.
Well, they're not going to say that to my fat ass, Brian.
They're not. Still doesn't take away the fact that that's a better compliment than you're intriguing.
No, I'd rather be intriguing.
Oh, that's your downfall.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And since we're talking about ways you didn't know you were being hit on, basically, this kind of relates in the situation of dating and it shows how, again, desperate some guys are, but this one turned into an arrest. Prosecutors say 63-year-old David Franklin Slater, a retired Army lieutenant colonel who held a top secret security clearance at U.S. Strategic Command, attended classified briefings on the war in Ukraine February through April 2022. Soon after the Russia's invasion began, Slater then sent this classified information to someone who claimed to be a woman living in Ukraine.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, hey, whatever you got, use it to get that thing.
If you got the kind of clearance, you should definitely know better.
There's this kind of impression when you watch movies of how secret everything is.
Yeah.
And really, these guys running everything are just like us. They're going to use that information if it impresses a woman.
More often than not, they're like
So
nepo
note to
babies.
spies, be a hot woman.
Yeah. Oh my God, Kara, a hot woman could extract any info
Yeah.
they wanted from me. What am I hiding?
But this woman, I don't think she was a spy. She was just trying
To
to date someone.
Yeah.
And he was trying to date her, even though he lived here. I mean, he's 63 and a lieutenant colonel. Hadn't he gotten everything he wanted so far in life by that point? I mean,
No,
did he?
he's lonely.
I guess he is. And he used that. So he was arrested and indicted on a couple charges of course, he's called basically releasing classified information over a dating app. Not even Bumble,
Someone
a
you haven't
foreign
even
dating
met.
app.
You don't even know what the person on the other line is.
So some of the transactions, we have some of the transcripts here that were by this guy. And she apparently called him Sweet Dave and my secret agent in messages.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Now, here's the question before I even get into it. Was she a beautiful woman that was on the dating profile, or was she a Russian spy?
Well, she's probably both.
Probably. They are. For some reason, the Russian spies are hot.
I know. Well, that's how they get you, because they know people like you and I are eventually going to fall in line.
This is why the world's going to end at some
I
point.
know, that's the problem. If Russian spies were uglier, we'd have world peace.
Yeah, facts. Just because you're thirsty, the world's going to end. So here's one of her transactions on March 15th, one of the messages. By the way, you were the first to tell me that NATO members are traveling by train. You are my secret informant love. How were your meetings? Successful? And we don't know what the context of the meetings were, but he basically told the NATO people were traveling by train that a missile could come on easily.
Yeah.
He gave her that information. Okay,
That a missile could take out the train?
easily. Or a bomb.
Yeah. I'd be a pretty impressive missile shot to take out a moving train.
Well, I'm not getting into the logistics of military strategy here. I just thought a missile could take out a train.
You're just an innocent bystander in this situation.
We'll get that in the podcast post-show. We'll get into a military strategy meeting.
Naturally.
Here's, she said, beloved Dave, do NATO and Biden have a secret plan to help us? Doesn't get more obvious than that. Also on March 23rd, Dave, it's great that you get information about my country first. I hope you will tell me right away, ? You are my secret agent with love.
Where's his messages and all this? Why are we only seeing hers?
Well, because these are the juicy ones. We're not going to release classified information on this show. Unlike the government and guys, colonels that are thirsty, retired ones, we don't release that information,
Okay,
Kara.
good.
We don't do that.
I feel
Same way
safer.
with Brian and I, we are not traitors to this great nation.
Yes.
Good.
America, F yeah. Okay. So also she says this, Sweet Dave, the supply of weapons is completely classified, which is great. Now, that was after he sent a whole list of weapon stuff to her.
What is he doing?
He's trying to get laid.
Yeah, but Kara, think about it. Every guy has one thing that if they're desperate, if they're throwing Hail Marys, they have one thing they can fall back on. For me, if I was single, which thankfully I'm not, but when I was, like, hey, baby, you like Fallout Boy? You know, I can get you Fallout Boy tickets when they come to town. He has classified military secrets. Of course he's going to bring that up when he's desperate.
Yeah, but I like seeing Fallout Boy. I don't need those secrets. It doesn't do anything for me.
You don't know what you'd be if you were over in Ukraine or Russia,
That's
Kara.
true, that's
you might
true.
be trying to get secrets. There's
Yeah.
a couple more here. Dave, I hope tomorrow NATO will prepare a very unpleasant surprise for Putin. Will you tell me?
Oh, my God.
Jeez. And apparently he did. Like, he told all this stuff. She says, you have a job in the operations center today. I remember, I'm sure there's a lot of interesting news there. ? She was fishing, you know?
Of course.
Yeah, she was fishing and she got the answer. I don't know if they ever hooked up, but I think it was just, she was just leading him on this whole way.
See, maybe she didn't believe he was who he presented himself. Because if somebody told me online they were a spy or an international, I have all these secrets, I wouldn't believe him. I would be playing him. Maybe she was playing him.
No, I think this was real.
Okay. All right.
I mean, he is going to jail.
Okay, then yes, it was real.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.